and welcome to another live lesson today with me, Mr. R, and this is AM language. Let me just get into a better view. This is 4 o'clock. Has it started? Yes, it has started. I don't know. Okay, I'll start again because I'm not sure what happened. Anyway, in case that didn't work first time round, good afternoon. Welcome to today's AM language. Welcome to AM language. Today it's going to be lexical sets and lexical chains. So thank you very much for joining. If you are watching this later, if you want to join us in terms of what happened during the lesson, please click on the live chat section. That way you'll be able to follow the lesson. So good afternoon to you, Bruno Okada, Leondina, good afternoon. Arena F as well, good afternoon. Great to see you guys here. And yes, I would say today is going to be a day where we're going to try and build our vocabulary. That's the idea for today, around lexical sets and lexical chains. Alida, buenos dias from where you are in the world, and good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. I don't know what the weather is like, obviously, where you guys are. Where I am, it's oh well, I suppose it's a bit cloudy, rainy, bit cloudy, a bit rainy. Not an exciting day on the weather front. But as for everyone who's watching, please, as always, make sure subscribe if you're new. We're up to 439 subscribers. So let's see if we can get this over the line today for 440, and let's see if we can try and get 500 viewers in the next month or so. Sandra says, hi, good afternoon, Sandra. Welcome to today's lesson, and thank you for joining. Yeah, so if you're watching this later, you might as well, there's no point fast forwarding on. I'm going to start the lesson at around the 3-minute mark today. So there's only 20 seconds of that later. What I would say, guys, is make sure you've got a pen and paper at hand today. It's going to come in useful for some of you at least. And as always, there's going to be something for everybody. There'll be something for people at the lower levels and something for people at the higher levels. If I'm speaking too quickly, just let me know. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, simple way to think about these two categories, okay? I have looked at this before, but not entirely. So lexical set, think of basically it's the topic, okay? It's your subject. Your main word in your title, for example. Now, a lexical chain, quite simply, any word that is related. There we go, related to the lexical set, and thus topic. So this is an important thing to look at. It helps us when reading, it helps us when listening, and it can help us when speaking and writing. I think we'll be able to do a little bit more writing today, potentially, but really and truly, we're going to see if we can, how much we can expand. What's the range of our lexical chains? Sometimes it's very specific language as well, but that's effectively what it is. So I'm going to start off with something easy, and then you guys can tell me. And then we'll start fitting these things into sentences, meaning, because the meaning and the context matters as well. So let's say I gave you a lexical set within a question. Let's see what you guys tell me about this one here? Let's say the title is, so let's say you've got this title here. Okay, this might be a title of a newspaper article, who knows? But it's got here crime. Let me do this again. I've just noticed I made a mistake. So I'll do this one again. So crime is on the rise in London. That's your title. The question is, what is your lexical set? So what is the lexical? What is the lexical set? Is it crime, rise, or London? Which one is the lexical set? Crime, rise, or London? What is the lexical set? Crime. Yes, Alida, that is exactly it. So from there, we then can then decide, okay, we now have to think about lexical chains that can come from it. So Leondina says crime as well, and that's correct. Now this actually is linked to a few things, one of which is paraphrasing as well. So now let's have a little look. We're going to try and come up with as many lexical chains that are related to the word crime, just like in the thumbnail. So I'm going to start us off with this one here, alibi. Oh, alibi, alibi, not alibi. I was thinking of there's a joke in English where people say alibi instead of alibi. No, in English this is alibi. I think in Italian or Spanish it might be alibi, but I'm meant to say alibi. Okay, so we have alibi that is related to crime, and alibi, of course, is a story. Um, a story that a suspect tells the police. And in that, we've got another lexical chain, which is suspect, someone who the police think, police think might have done the crime. So just from that, we've got two lexical chains, alibi and suspect. From that, there's a third lexical chain, which is suspect. Now, of course, there's a slight difference in pronunciation. So I'm just going to show you why. We've got the noun over here, okay? And then we've got this as well, suspect, suspect. Now, this again is something I might have looked at. Briefly before, but we've now got already three lexical chains: alibi, suspect, and suspect. So the question is just a quick one for you guys. Can you tell me, with the noun suspect, do you think the syllable stress is the first or the second syllable? So this is suspect, suspect, suspect. Okay, so as a noun, if we're looking at suspect, do we think it is a suspect, suspect? Do we think it's B, suspect? First one? Okay, yeah, good. That is correct. So we've got suspect, okay? So that's the pronunciation when it's a noun. And when it's a verb, it changes to suspect, okay? So there's just a slight change between when it's a verb and when it's a noun. If it's a noun, stress is on the first one, suspect. When it's a verb, to suspect someone, you would say suspect. So the stress is on the pect bit. So already we've got 3. So your task is this. Can you think of 3 lexical chains? 3 lexical chains. 3 lexical chains. Okay, so that should be a question mark as well. A leader has come in with lexical chains. So thieves, robbery, felony, corruption, bribe, prison, abduction. So really and truly, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 or 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So well done there. Well done. Alida, you've got 7 lexical chains that go along with this subject. Let's see if other people can come up with slightly different lexical chains. We've got murder, punishment, justice. Yes, good. This is exactly what it is. Okay, so where do we go from here? I'm now going to put some words that you might not know. Some of you might do. And let's see if we can work out what the meaning is. Okay, I'm going to put the question and then I will put the answer. You guys need to be able to try and we're going to try and develop our range of lexical chain here according to the subject. So the subject, the question is, let's say, why has crime increased in London? Okay, so once again, we know crime is our lexical set. Let's see what happens here. Yes, stabbing as well, absolutely. Okay, just give me one more, just give me 30 more seconds with this one. Okay, so we've got the question, why has crime increased in London? And then we've got this answer. There are many factors that contribute to criminality, and in recent times, it's been fraud through apps. The police have identified several suspects along with some important evidence. So, quite simple. This is your task. Task 1. What are the lexical chains? Or what's the lexical? What words come under lexical chain? Okay, so that's the first thing that we need to think about as our answer. And the second thing that we need to think about is if we can think of any other words that can contribute to this sentence, maybe synonyms, antonyms, or can we rearrange one or two things? I think that might be a little bit vague on my part. Let's go with can we? So what words come under lexical chains? And then I think what we could do is let's go with yeah, let's go with this. so this is the second one. How many synonyms can we think of all these words? So a leader's come in with criminality, fraud, suspects, and evidence, all of which are very much lexical chains. Good, well done. Bruno, Leondina, excellent. Okay, Alida, yes, brilliant, perfect. How many synonyms can we think of? Are there any synonyms for these things, or is it a little bit hard to think of what these synonyms might be? So let me know what you think the synonyms are, because when doing so, we can then build up our knowledge and vocabulary. Okay, and then we can just have a little look just to see what comes up. Okay, so for instance, can you guys think of a synonym for fraud? Actually, let me help you out here. Okay, we've got fraud. Let's go with synonyms. Maybe you just need a little bit of a push. Cheating, potentially cheating. It is a form of cheating. Let me give you some ideas, and then you can tell me which one you think is which are the best that we can use. Ba, ba, ba. Okay, so these are some examples. Tell me which ones are the best synonyms for fraud. Can I use scam? Can I use borrow? Can I use blackmail? Can I use lend, extortion, or withdraw? Which one? Okay, so Sandra's come in with some of her own. We've agreed on scam. Okay, deception and deceit. Good, excellent, good examples and good synonyms. So that way we can build up the lexical chain that we have started. Okay, looking good. I'll give you guys just another opportunity just to see what you guys come in with later on before we move on to the next topic altogether. But building up the synonym count is really important. So you've got this word fraud. Sandra thinks scam. I put down scam as one of the options. So you might think to yourself, scam is definitely an answer. Deception and deceit. Good in well, yeah, good ideas there, Sandra and Leondina. Thinks extortion and withdraw could be synonyms of fraud. Um, okay, therefore part of the lexical chain. We'll see if anyone else agrees with you. Okay, another one here, Alida. You agree with scam. So yes, synonyms of fraud. Swindle is another one. Yes, actually, and that's a good one. I'll put that in anyway. So we've got swindle, we've got scam. Absolutely, we can have blackmail. We can also have um, ex- extortion as well. So all of these would make perfectly good synonyms of fraud, and therefore it helps us when we're trying to apply more lexical trains. Tricky. No, I can't use it as a synonym because it needs to be within a certain context, and then no, it just doesn't quite go. Unfortunately, I like what you're thinking though. There's a lot of good ideas with the way you've tried to go about it. Um, just give me an idea. I think the closest thing I could think of would be this adjective, actually, a leader. But it's not. it's not actually a synonym, but it's an adjective. It's tricksy. Tricksy is someone who can trick you. So potentially, it's not bound to fraud. It's got lots of other ways we can use it for someone that whereby we think it's hard to trust them. So if you find it hard to trust, maybe you think they are tricksy, which means they are always thinking how to steal money or do something illegal. But it is potentially used or related to the meaning of fraud, but not directly. There's lots of other things we'd have to do. Okay, but we've now looked at criminality. Let's move on to the next one. And let's see if we can up the level. And let's see if we can build on this as well. So let's go with the next. Slightly more complicated, I think, this one. So okay, there we go. This is slightly longer. Lexical sets. Let's start off. You guys tell me, what do you think the lexical set or lexical sets might be? You would have to, in this case, we would have to discuss the we'd have to discuss the previous text, okay? Or let's say message. Let's go with that. So, traveling around Europe is difficult at the moment, and people warn that some airlines won't survive. Okay, so what do you think the lexical set or lexical sets might be? There might be more than one lexical set here. What do you guys think? And this is, okay, traveling. Okay, we've got traveling. Do you guys agree with the leader? Leader, do you think there's another lexical set that we need to think about here? Um, let me know what you think. Let's see if anyone else can come in here. Okay, so you agree with the leader that it is in fact traveling. Can you guys see another one? Okay, so you all agree traveling. Now, traveling is definitely one. That is the main lexical set. It's even the subject of the matter. But the other lexical set that we can probably think about. Okay, interesting. Okay. You've gone for survive, Alida. Um, now, this is the interesting thing. It's to do with the context. So you've got some sub potential lexical sets. You've got airline and you've got survive that feed into the main themes here. So traveling is definitely a lexical set. The other lexical set is actually related to, in this case, if we wanted to, it depends how specific. If we wanted to just talk about the airline or airlines or airports or airplanes, then airlines become a lexical set. Survival, well, potentially, it can be the case because here we're talking about the dangers of not surviving. In which case, you might think, okay, maybe this provides a little bit more context. You could therefore make the case that there are three lexical sets we need to think about. There's travel, there's the airline, and then there's survival. Okay, so that would be our three lexical sets, and then we need to try and go about identifying and seeing how we can make sense of all this. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say some sentences, and I would like you guys to listen carefully and let me know um, what you think what lexical chains you can hear. Sandra says, Richard, sorry, but I do not understand what is a lexical set. I am a bit lost in the lesson today. Not to worry, Sandra. So, lexical set, I'll say again from back to the beginning, lexical set is your simple terms, it's your subject or main uh, topics in your um, subject. Okay, so in this case, you've got traveling, which is an obvious lexical set. You are talking about traveling. The more specific you want to make it, the more lexical sets you'll have. The more general you want to make it, the less lexical sets you will have. But it's your subject, it's the main talking point and your focus, which is what's really important. It provides context. So, in this case, if we want to be general, then we would say traveling or travel is our lexical set. We're talking about travel, but it is talking about travel in the airline industry and if the airline industry can survive. Therefore, if we're talking about specifically the airline industry becomes another lexical set. And if the focus is going to be on survival, then that has to be seen as a lexical set because this provides the meaning and the context in which we have to talk and discuss. Alida says traveling, tips, journeys, vacations as okay. So if you use traveling, trips, journeys, and vacations, yeah, that's going to be a lexical chain. But hold your horses. Let's see how we can go about doing this. Like I said, we've got three lexical sets in this case because we're going to be specific. We've got travel, and I'm just going to put down this here, okay? Lexical set, okay? You've got travel, airline, and survival. Okay, those are the three most important words. They all have meaning and they are your lexical sets. So the language we need to work around is based off those three words. We need to think of words related to travel, related to the airline industry, and related to the survival of the airline industry. And that's an important thing. So now with that, we can then think about the lexical chains. Any words related? So I'm going to write a sentence here. Then you guys can complete it by telling me which ones were the lexical chains. In task 2, I am not going to complete the sentence, and you will have to choose your own words that will fit because they are a lexical chain. So we're going to start off with a slightly medium task, then we're going to finish with a slightly harder task. So just to remind ourselves, the question is, or the sentence is, traveling around Europe is difficult at the moment, and people warn that some airlines won't survive. Breakdown, not necessarily. If it's a car, yes. Airline, not so much. Not so much. Um, it would be hard to make it a lexical chain at this point. So tell me what the lexical chains are in this one. Okay, so we've got conquers. Uh, I'm not sure in terms of what context. I don't think so, though. Sandra. Okay, let's see here. I should add that with this, there's going to be potentially some new vocabulary as well, which is a good thing. And then we'll break this down a little bit further. Okay. Okay, so the international airport in Amsterdam has warned that not all airlines can make it through the COVID period due to the amount of losses airlines are having to take on a daily basis. Now, like I said, the question here is we've got the lexical sets: travel, airline, survival. How many words can we find here that are related to those lexical sets? How many can we find? So break it up into travel, airline, and survival. Which words can we find that are linked to these three? And then we will move on to the next activity where you guys will have to try and choose your own words. So like I said, guys, just remember your lexical set are the main words with meaning in your subject title, for example. Lexical chain are words that are related to that particular lexical set. So a leader puts make through COVID losses. Now all of those are to do with, and you're right, survival. So well done, a leader. Now that for anyone else watching, that is an example. Make through COVID losses. It's all to do with survival. So that comes under survival. Airline, airport, COVID loss. Okay, you've got a few things there. I think okay, airline and airport that comes under airplanes as as a lexical set. Potentially travel as well, because of course, if you're talking about that, you're talking about travel. So they both come under two lexical sets. COVID losses, like I said, that comes under survival. Leondina puts airport, airlines. Okay, that comes under airline and travel, obviously, as a lexical set. Losses, again, that's under survival. Okay, now I'm going to write a sentence here. This time you need to choose the most appropriate words you can think of. Okay, read carefully. So I'm going to change it up again. So let's see how we do here. Okay, so this is our title. Now we need to try and complete the sentence. Sentences that follow. Let's see what you go with. I'm now the other day I did a dictogloss where I told you just to write down all the words with meaning. However, here I'm going to write, but I'm going to leave out words with meaning. So you'll have the functional language, but you now need to think of the words with meaning that you can use to complete the sentences. Oh no, your connection is unstable. Please wait while we try to Okay, right, good, I'm back. I'm just going to start off with a sentence first. Otherwise, it might be a little bit too difficult. Okay, let's see what you guys go for here. Now, it's incomplete, the sentence. It is related. The words you're going to have to use are going to be related to at least one of the words in the title, which make up part of the lexical set. It's just a sentence. So the plane. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do here for the first one, think of two words for, let's go with A. Okay, so think of two words for A and just one word for the second one word for B. So try and think of one word for B and two words for A. Two words for A, one word for B. All three need to be a lexical chain of the lexical set in the title. Now we've got three things that all have clear meanings here. We've got criminals, that's a lexical set. Hijack is a really interesting one. Hijack is when people take the plane by force and everyone on board becomes a hostage. And then you've got plane as well. All three very related to a very specific story here. So you need to decide what is the lexical set, or what are the lexical sets. Once you've decided, you need to choose the most appropriate word that you think can go there. But the word has to be related to one of the words, to one of the lexical sets that you can find in that very short title. Let's see what you guys come out with. Criminals hijack plane. Okay. Criminals hijack plane. So you've got this word hijack. Can you think of a lexical chain that goes with hijack? Can you think of a lexical chain that goes with criminals? Okay. Sandra's gone with criminals, hijacked, and effort. Okay, the thing there is the criminals hijacked the plane. Yes, that goes. The only thing is that it's very similar to the actual title because you've got criminals and hijacked in there. So we might need to try and think of some synonyms for hijack and jacket. And hijack. Sorry. Extort some good, potentially. We'll have to see if it makes sense in this context, though. Leondina said the criminals took the plane and wanted to obtain some goods. That's very good. So you've got criminals, you've got took the plane. Of course, that's going to be a lexical chain from hijack, and plane and wanted to obtain some goods. Yeah. Okay, so I think there's potential there. Alida's put thieves and kidnap and steal. Thief for the last one, sure. Kidnap, maybe for the people stuck on board. Is it an act of theft? Yeah, so those are potentially words that are related where we could say, okay, that is a lexical chain. Alida says, or kidnap is only for people. No, we do tend to use kidnap for lots of things. People all the time, and maybe pet animals. Other than that, no. Sandra says, you see, I'm totally lost today. Sorry. No worries, Sandra. No worries. Let's review this. Okay, so lexical set. Okay. You've got criminal. Okay. Let's go with something like criminal. Okay. That is your main lexical set. So automatically a lexical chain from here, Sandra, would be something like would be thieves. Okay, that would be a lexical chain. You could even say, let's say hijack, because hijack is against the law. Let's say you wanted just to say no, criminal is going to be our lexical set. You can then say part of the lexical chain is in that title itself. So you could say hijacked, for example. But if it's like hijacked, then you've got things like took the plane, um, attack. All of these things start to roll off. So we're looking for synonyms. Says Sandra, yeah, a lexical chain. It's not just a word that is a synonym. It's a word that is to do with the subject and words that are synonyms. Words that are to do with the subject and words that are synonyms. So, like Alida put, thieves, kidnap, steal. These are all synonym. These are all lexical chains from the word criminal. Alida says this is useful for writing essays, for instance. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, and this is just what we're doing here. This is the build up. This is the pre-writing stage where you need to think carefully about what you're going to write. Now, how does this work? Well, I'm going to finish with giving you a demonstration in the live chat in terms of how this works. It can be a little bit difficult, and granted, I don't have a board, so it can be a little bit harder. But just to put it this way, okay, you have, let's go back to the beginning and think about putting these ideas together, okay? You've got this, okay, criminals don't have to travel to steal from you. Okay, that's the title. Discuss the statement. Okay, so you could get this in an exam. Criminals don't have to travel to steal from you. Discuss the statement. Okay, so one of the most important things we need to think about here. Okay, the lexical set that we have automatically is criminals. Okay, the other one, because it provides a lot of information, is travel. So we need to think about criminals and travel. Those are lexical sets. So what's the lexical chain? Any word related to travel and any word related to related to criminals. Okay, all of these would be lexical chains. Would be a lexical chain of some kind. So lexical chain of criminals would be thieves, frauds, hacking, for example. If it's travel, then you're going to be using lexical chains such as movement, flying, driving, and so on and so forth. All of those become lexical chains. Now, why is this important? Feeds into this. And I'm going to finish with this because it's a really important thing. If you know the lexical set and chain, it will help you to answer the question and not to go off point. Okay? Journey for travel, yes, Sandra, that would be a lexical chain. So if you know the lexical set and chain, or chains, for example, it will help you to answer the question and not to go off point. When answering questions, it's so easy for people to go off point. They stop answering the question, they start answering something different. This is why we need to know what the lexical set is so we know what the lexical chains are. And that helps us with context and answering the question and to be coherent. I think if I were to do this lesson again, I think I would have to take what I've just said and put it at the beginning as well to provide extra context. So I think in the future, if I did this lesson again, I think I would do it slightly differently. I think what I've just said I should have put at the beginning, just to provide more context as to why this is important. Leondina says, move on. Yes, sailing, potentially flying. Yep, these are good. Okay. So, guys, this was our lesson on lexical chain and lexical sets and lexical chains. It can be a little bit difficult to follow, especially when I can't show you actual material. We'll pick this up again maybe in maybe sometime next week, where we can properly examine how, with some activities. I think that's the next thing, really. So the next time we do this, maybe next week, we'll go and do an activity. I think it will help us a lot. A good reading activity, guys, if you just want to get a little bit better at this, go on to any English speaking news site. Look at the title, read the article. Can you circle? Can you identify the lexical set, and can you circle all the lexical chains? This becomes really important when working on things like scan reading. But again, this isn't something I can do at the moment on YouTube, because I don't have enough know-how in terms of how to use YouTube properly to its full potential. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, then press like, and give a like to the video if you would like to have a follow-up session on this one, to learn more about it and to do an actual activity. Can you recommend any websites of this? What do you mean, a leader? Websites that talks about lexical sets and chains, or sites that you can use to read? Let me know which one you would like. Yes. Okay, I think I know which question you're answering there. Let's go with this, actually. Okay, I can show you this, guys. The British Council, BBC British Council. There's more to look at this over here. Okay. Leondina says to practice lexical sets and chains. Leondina says thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to put a few links over here. That's for like a lexical set, for example, from the British Council. It's got a few things there. A lexical set is a group of words with the same topic, function, or form. And let me see if I can think of a worksheet. Maybe this. No. I tell you what, Alida, I'll tell you what, I think I'll do some research actually on that one, so I can find better links, because the links I have at the moment for it aren't the best. I'm not completely happy with it. I'm not even happy with the one from the British Council, if I'm being honest with you. So I'll remove that one for now. Next time we do this, I'll find better examples. I think that's the case. I'm not really happy with the examples there. So I'll look at it later. I'll see if I can find better material to share with you guys. Anyway, so thank you so much for joining in. No worries. Thanks, Richard. I hope to see you tomorrow. Yep, I'll be back tomorrow, same time, 4 o'clock. You too, guys. So thank you, Leondina. Thank you, Alida. Thank you, Arena F. Thank you, Bruno, and anyone else watching. And I will see you, and Arena F as well, and Sandra. So thank you very much. I know today maybe not the best. I think there's more that can be done with it. I'll have to think about it, because I think I can do more, even though I only have the live chat. Thank you so much for joining, and see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Tomorrow is going to be film English, actually. So see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.